Welcome back to the channel guys, and in today's video we are going to feature a team consisting of Skarmory, Swampert and Vigoroth, and these battles have been submitted to us by Shubham, so thank you for these battles. And I really am looking forward for this because he said that he was able to make a lot of sack swaps with it, and I think Shubham is really great with the sack swaps. So and he also went 9-1 with this team, so really looking forward for these battles. And before we start with the team composition, if you are new to the channel and if you like our content, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you want to join the Battleset Discord server, the link to that is in the description down below. So moving on to the team composition, the team which we is using today consisting of Skarmory, Vigoroth, Safe Swap and Swampert. So running pretty standard moveset. I think the moveset is not quite spicy, but if you look at the PvPoke rating, the PvPoke rating does, I think it's okayish. It's not too good, it's neither too good nor too bad. The day safety is rated as B and coverage is rated as C, which primarily are the factors which I look at. So I think it's a pretty decent team all around because Vigoroth is, as you may all know, is a very good safe swap in the Great League. And Skarmory is, although it's weak to those Bastardons and Galarian Stunfisk, and he is running Swampert in the back for to handle those things. Other than that, I think Skarmory is a very strong pick for the Great League. And without further delays, let's start with the battles to see how the battle goes. Picking up a beautiful lead in the form of this Toxicroak, expecting immediate swap from the opponent side, and they swap into Alolan Golem, and he swaps into Vigoroth, quite understandably because Vigoroth would be very weak to Toxicroak, and Vigoroth will be able to do super effective damage, but I think normal type is resisted by the rock type, but we will have to see about that. The opponent shields though, which is quite surprising. So he returns the favor of the by shielding himself with the rock of this rock plus, because rock plus would have KO'd at that range, and he will be able to spam those body slams. I think the major plus point of Vigoroth is that it's really spammy with those body slams, and I think expecting Toxicroak to come back in, but the opponent is really looking at a disadvantage. They come in with Venusaur though, so their entire team is quite weak to Skarmory, and at this point the opponent probably should have quit the game because Skarmory will eat this team alive. I think with this setup, I think it will be able to eat this team twice. So yeah, getting a bit of lag, but not really that it matters. But the Sky Attack will be able to take out the Toxicroak. So yeah, very beautiful first game. GG's. Moving on to the next one, picking up an Altaria Lead. So the opponent swaps immediately. I don't think that was quite necessary, but in comes this Vigoroth. So this definitely will prompt the Hypno to go for the elemental punches, because Shadow Ball would be resisted unless they are running Focus Plus. The chances for that is very low. But confusion damage is really adding up, and this is probably one of the reason I really like Shadow Hypno, because it's bulky and it can spam those charge moves quite nicely, and the opponent is able to flip the switch advantage, and he really want to come in with Swampert. That's what I was saying, because Swampert would be quite weak to Altaria. So now that he has revealed all the Pokemons, I think the opponent is at a very good advantage. And even though I think but Shubham has the shield advantage, so, and he comes in with Skarmory to farm down the Hypno, so that's also good. That was a quite a good strategy to let Hypno waste all their energy. And in comes Toxicroak. So quite surprising that they're facing a lot of Toxicroak. I for one have not seen a single Toxicroak since this season began. So Skarmory is already down to yellow, so not really. Yeah, probably the opponent should have come in with Altaria, seeing the Skarmory, and the opponent quits. So I think it's good, but the opponent definitely made a lot of misplay there. So picking up a negative lead this time around, and he swaps into Vigoroth. So expecting Galvantula to drop in a lunge and bail, but Vigoroth is able to. Does Vigoroth win the CMP against Galvantula? I don't think so, but yeah, definitely it was a CMP test, so maybe Vigoroth wins the CMP. So they go for lunge, which is which gets shielded, even though they come in with Alolan Marowak. So this is not really looking good for Vigoroth, because Bulldoze is not quite a good move. This is definitely a Bone Club. So this will the Alolan Marowak, I am not expecting a shield, and Vigoroth will end up getting farmed down. Bulldoze still does decent amount of damage, and he loses the switch advantage by coming in with Swampert. So this was probably Shadowbone. So yeah, I'm not really looking good for the Swampert now. especially since there is a Galvantula took a body slam, right? So Galvantula is almost it's almost dead. So in comes Umbreon, and this is going to be pretty interesting because Umbreon with 2 shields I think is really going to pressure this team around. And yeah, this definite I'm not expecting any shield because he shields the foul play, which is questionable play in my opinion, but the opponent swaps to catch on this Hydro Cannon onto the Galvantula. So the opponent is really making some high plays, but he has a full health Skarmory, but with no shields I think it's still going to be pretty difficult. And catching on a foul play onto Vigoroth, so some really good plays happening around, and really exciting to see these battles. Probably you can probably sense the excitement in my voice also. But in comes Skarmory, so this is a pretty good opportunity to go for a Brave Bird and Bale because he does have Swampert, which will reset the timer, reset the debuff onto the Skarmory. And the timer is still not up, so definitely would want to go for Sky Attack initially to start pressuring shields at the Umbreon's end. And let's see, he goes for a double Sky Attack. This will definitely grab the last shield of the Umbreon. And will he be able to pull off the Saxop? Not really. It was I think it's CMP tie. So going for foul play, but he has a Hydro Cannon ready onto the Swampert. So this Hydro Cannon will be able to take out the Umbreon. So yeah, GG's. Moving on to the next one, let's see, and he's in a Cresselia lead. So this is pretty good lead because everything, yeah, Cresselia cannot do anything to Skarmory. Everything it throws would be resisted, and Grass Knot will be like triple resisted if I'm not wrong. So they go for a future sight. It does not do any damage to Skarmory. So is it a Sky Attack? Yeah, he goes for a Sky Attack, and the opponent, for I don't know why they shielded that, but they swapped into the Galarian Stunfisk, and the Swampert is going to eat this bear trap alive, and they go for a Flash Cannon. Yeah, some questionable plays being made all around, and going for a Hydro Cannon, and this will bring down these Galarian Stunfisk into reds, and it's potentially in the farm down range. So the opponent swaps to Umbreon. So this is probably one of things that I also noticed that there are a lot of Umbreons running around this season, and this is probably one of the reason I am not willing to run Jellicent anymore, because Jellicent gets walled by Umbreon, because Umbreon gets 2 foul plays very quickly, and 2 foul plays will knock out the Jellicent, whereas the Umbreon is barely taking any damage from the ice beams. So I would prefer to be in an Obstagoon matchup rather than being in an Umbreon. So this is probably one of the reasons that I'm not running I'm not preferring to run Jellicent anymore. So in comes this Cresselia, and this Cresselia is going to get walled by the Skarmory in the back. And yeah, at this point the opponent probably should have quit. No matter how much energy it charges, it's the Skarmory, even I think he can go for a 2 shield flex. Sorry, he does not have 2 shields, but definitely it's a very strong position to be in. So coming in with Skarmory and swapping into Swampert to take on this, like, he's making a mockery of the opponent now, and that was probably not required, but shields the future side. I think that's out of respect probably, but yeah, going for a Sky Attack. The Sky Attack will definitely be able to knock out the Cresselia. So yeah, GG's. Moving on to the next one, and let's see. And he's in a Meganium match, so picking up a very strong lead yet again, and the opponent comes in with a Azumarill. So at this point he just needs to win this matchup, and I think he is looking good. I am expecting a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. So they go for a Play Rough, and the Swampert goes for Sludge Wave. I think they charged all the way up to 100 energy. Probably missed out on one bubble as well. One mud shot as well. The Azumarill will throw, so he will be shielding the Swampert now. Definitely would want to shield, and he is going for a Sludge Wave, and if the Azumarill shields, the Azumarill will be able to flip this matchup. The Azumarill do not shield, which is not really good, and he gives up the switch advantage yet again, and this allows the opponent to pair this Vigoroth up against the Meganium. So this is probably not looking good for Shivam. If they are indeed running a Galarian Stunfisk in the back, this is going to end pretty badly. So or not. I think he will allow Vigoroth to get farmed down, or not, Body Slam does enough damage to knock out the Meganium. So expecting Azumarill to come back in and farm down, the Azumarill will go down to the counters, and there is a Bastardon in the back. So I think this is probably one of the games where he loses. The opponent shields the bull. Yeah, they shield the Body Slam, so probably which was not required. He needs to pull off a Saxo up here, but Swampert did not have any health, right? So Swampert will go down to 1 Smackdown, and this Skarmory is not doing anything. So yeah, this is probably a loss. He can throw a Brave, or the Swampert had. I'm not paying attention. Probably the Swampert has a Hydro Cannon ready, and this puts down the Bastardon in the Brave Bird range, but he's going for a Sky Attack. I definitely would have went for a Brave Bird, because yeah, he would not have been able to get to it. Let's see if Skarmory is able to beat the Bastardon. I'm sorry if I'm a bit lazy on the commentary, but I'm really enjoying these battles, and the Skarmory is indeed able to beat down the Bastardon with this last minute Sky Attack with 1 HP, and yeah, this one was pretty interesting game, to be honest. But moving on to the next one, picking up another negative lead, and he swaps into Safe Swap Vigoroth, and the opponent does not throw the lunge this time, rather they come in with a Azumarill. So definitely he is loaded on energy. I think he is already at 2 Body Slams. So these Body Slams eventually will start to add up, and he is able to sneak in a counter in between as well, so that's also good. But gets baited with an Ice Beam, so not yeah, it's okay for Vigoroth. I think at this point if needed, he need to invest 2 shields in the Vigoroth to flip this matchup, because Skarmory will really struggle against the Galvantula. So going for another Body Slam, this will bring down the Azumarill into reds and potentially in counter range. But unfortunately, the Azumarill is able to throw this last minute charge move. He do not shield, but it's a play rough, and this takes out the Vigoroth. And the opponent has the shield advantage and the switch advantage as well, so not really looking good. So coming in with Swampert, start loading, get ahead on energy, and he comes in with Galvantula. So probably they do have a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. But we'll have to see about that. So he go for a Hydro Cannon. This will definitely get shielded, and now the Galvantula will be able to get to the next lunge, or he's able to catch on to lunge onto the Skarmory. So that's really good, but this will debuff their attack, and there is indeed a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. So yeah, not really looking good for this Skarmory, at least. So going for a Rock Slide, and at this point the Galarian Stunfisk can load up on bunch of energy, and he is missing out on a bubble, so just get a great, and it's a defense. Yeah, they went for a Brave Bird. So this is a pretty smart move, because this will allow less farm onto the Galarian Stunfisk. But regardless, Stunfisk I think is already at a Rock Slide. So going for this Hydro Cannon, and this Hydro Cannon gets shielded. Quite surprisingly that it gets shielded, because now Swampert can load up on energy, because the Galvantula throw their energy, or not. My bad. This is going to end. Yeah, this is probably the loss which he took from the game. But yeah, opponent played really well in my opinion, and the switch advantage there was really critical. And picking up this is a decent lead, because Abomasnow can potentially win in one shield matchup, unless if this Skarmory doesn't get if it doesn't get a slash in between. So going for a Sky Attack, but the Abomasnow, as you can see, is able to win the CMP, so this will pressure the shield at the Skarmory's end. And now the Abomasnow, if it wants to stay alive, it needs to shield, and if it shields, it will be able to beat the Skarmory to the next charge move. So yeah, not really looking good for this Skarmory, unless he gets to another Sky Attack. He gets to another Sky Attack, so probably it's an IV dependent match, or perhaps it's a Shadow Abomasnow which wins against Skarmory, because Skarmory is too low, so definitely Shadow Abomasnow theoretically can win. So in comes Umbreon, and he comes in with Vigoroth. So probably they have a, if I have to guess, I would guess that there is an Azumarill in the back. So Body Slam damage will eventually add up to this Umbreon, and Umbreon is so bulky. I don't think there is anything in the Great League or even the Ultra League that can one-shot an Umbreon from full health, and Azumarill for that matter as well. Is there anything that can one-shot Azumarill? I don't think so. If you know about any Pokemon that can do that too, let me know in the comment section down below. So Umbreon will be able to take out the, or barely take down the Vigoroth with a foul play, and this Umbreon will just start to go to town unless they have a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. I really don't see a win condition here, but he's loading up on energy, so that's really good. And farming some extra energy onto Swampert is can really come in handy. And they have a Toxicroak, so this is probably their win condition, because Toxicroak will take some time to get to the charge move, whereas the Toxicroak is able to get to a Mud Bomb. This will definitely knock out the Swampert, but Vigoroth is just a beast with those body slam spams, and Vigoroth will be able to take down the Toxicroak to take that match. So yeah, GG's. Moving on to the next one, let's see what do we get. And I think these videos are not aligned as per the matches, so excuse me for that. I was this is probably, I didn't get a time to sort it on the basis of the battles, the way the battles were played in the sequence. So in comes Vigoroth. So Vigoroth will be taking or shielding the sky attack. So going for a body slam. This will be resisted damage, but alongside the counter damage, it eventually will add up, because Vigoroth will be able to out spam the Skarmory to the charge moves. So as you can see, the Skarmory is already in reds, and it can take one sky attack if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so Vigoroth can definitely survive a sky attack and will be able to counter down the Skarmory completely, and it has a body slam ready. And this is probably one of the reasons that Vigoroth is quite dangerous, because Vigoroth is very spammy with those counters and the body slam. So in comes Machamp, and probably will farm down the Machamp, and even if it's a rock slide from a normal Machamp, it will not do a lot of damage and is able to farm down. And in comes Whiscash. So it's just a mud bomb, so not going to do that much amount of damage. And this Whiscash will be taking a Brave Bird to the face unless they want to shield, and even if they shield, this is probably a favorable situation. And it was a CMP die as well. So yeah, looking really good for this Swampert in the back, because Swampert will be able to just annihilate this Whiscash to the ground. And going for Hydro Cannon, this will bring down the Whiscash into the reds. This is just a Mud Bomb, so no need to shield at the Swampert's end. So Swampert will not shield, and probably need to farm some extra energy. The opponent tried to sack swap there but failed, and this is probably one of the negative things about the sack swaps, that if you fail to get that, you end up giving a lot of energy to your opponent. So yep, GG's. Moving on to the next match, picking up a negative lead and safe swapping into Vigoroth, and in comes Crafty. So both of them are doing super effective damage to each other, but Crafty will be able to boost those damage with the power up punches, whereas Vigoroth will not. But Vigoroth has those body slam spam with it. So let's see, Vigoroth is able to beat this Crafty to the next charge move, and this body slam will pressure the shield, because the opponent would really want to keep that matchup. And waiting out the switch timer a bit, and this is definitely a power up punch, not a foul play. Yep, this is definitely a power up punch, so no need to shield. And he has the shield advantage, so let's see how he would like to play this out. So in comes Galarian Stunfisk, and it will go for a rock slide, and let's see how he would want to go for a sky attack, or he manages to catch on a rock slide onto the Swampert, which is really good, preserving some health onto the Skarmory. And in comes Cresselia. So Cresselia, if it manages to land the grass knot, it will die pretty quickly, but this is a confusion Cresselia, so it will take some time to get to the charge move. So this is looking really good for Swampert here, because Swampert will be able to spam those charge moves, but confusion damage is eventually adding up. And at this point, even if the Swampert needs to invest 2 shields, this should be okay, because Galarian Stunfisk is quite healthy, it's not chipped down. So the Cresselia will shield, probably a questionable play. So this allows the Shubham to go for a sky attack and take down the Cresselia. And at this point, with the shield advantage, I think he can go for a sky. Probably I would have gone for a Brave Bird to lessen the farm of to reduce the farm onto the Galarian Stunfisk. But he's able to get to another Brave Bird regardless. So this probably ends up in favor of Shubham, because Galarian Stunfisk is pretty much dead. And it forces them to throw the energy. So this is probably if I were the opponent, I would have looked to farm down, because this is their only win condition to store back-to-back rock slides, because the Swampert I think will be able to beat, because both of these charge moves take 5 mud shots, and Swampert definitely will win the CMP against the Galarian Stunfisk. So yeah, GG's. Moving on to the next one, I think this is probably the last game of the set, and going in a Abomasnow matchup. So we have seen this before, but the opponent swaps into Shadow Swampert, and in comes Vigoroth. So Swampert has energy advantage, so this can end badly for Shubham. So we will have to see about that. The opponent does not shield, which is really good, because now he can shield this Hydro Cannon and completely farm down the Swampert, or not. Swampert was already at another Hydro Cannon, so but Vigoroth can survive one, and now we'll be able to completely farm down the Swampert, and Vigoroth is loaded on energy, which is dangerous anyway. So he is able to flip this. There was an Abomasnow, right? So it's a tricky situation to be in, to be honest, because Swampert will go down pretty fast to Clefable Charms. But he needs to come in with Swampert because there is an Abomasnow in the back. So probably he will look to chip down this Clefable Cell. The opponent shields, and in comes Abomasnow, so he's able to catch. If it's an energy ball, this is going to be really good, but it's a weather ball, so yeah, this is probably GG's, because yeah, this Abomasnow will be pressure to shield, and the next Sky attack will definitely be able to take down the Abomasnow, and Clefable with those charms will not be able to do anything up against Skarm before Skarm reaches a Sky attack. Even if they get to a charge move, it will be get shielded, and the opponent realizes they cannot win. So yeah, pretty amazing games, and pretty exciting at that. And thanks for submitting these battles. So if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, peace.